It is a male takeover if you didn't know. You say, why are there so many men in studio? Welcome back to Sunrise. Sunrisers, thanks for staying with us. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And of course, because it's Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, we shed light on the most frequent cancers in Jamaica, also associated with the most cancer deaths. Joining us this morning is our Dr. Honorable Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness and Chairman of the Jamaica Cancer Society, Earl Jarrett, to discuss the Jamaican Cancer Society issues, particularly the awareness of prostate cancer. So the theme this year is Brethren, what are you waiting on?
What are you waiting on?
As well as the what, when, where, and how of prostate cancer. So we delve in.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I hope you've got your prostate checked. Because you're both over 40, right?
Yes,
you're
both
over below 40.
But I don't like how you use the two fingers.
Oh, sorry. Tis the season. Tis the season.
but no. I make it my point of duty to do my full bail executive every year. Excellent. And trust me, my wife wouldn't have it any other way. She makes sure it's time.
It's the right thing.
So yeah. So
Dr. Tufton, they invited all of us to come, all the males from this organization, this studio, this company production. Yes. And only one person turned up.
I did mine already.
Really? All right, we have to talk about it. Anyway,
but Sir Jared, I mean, we hear about prostate cancer. You sometimes hear men passing away, and you know people whisper or speak in hushed tones about, I think it was prostate cancer. Yeah. I mean, why is it so pervasive in Jamaican society?
You know, there was a piece of research done some years ago by a team, Glover and others, and they determined that Jamaica has one of the highest prostate cancer incidence rates in the entire world. What they did was they did a cadaver study. They took dead people, and they took out the prostate, dissected it, and identified the fact that of the number of persons that were tested, they had prostate cancer, and they came to an estimate as to the number of incidents of cancer in Jamaica. And I think it's about 304 per 100,000. Wow. As compared to the rest of the Caribbean, where it's 76 per 100,000. Wow. But it's a black man's disease. You know, it's more prevalent among the black people, whether in America
even in the US.
In the US. You would have seen recently the Secretary of Defense, Mr. Austin, was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I believe Colin Powell and others, notable persons, have died from prostate cancer. It's a black disease, but in Jamaica in particular, I don't have an answer as to why the situation is like it is in Jamaica. But in Jamaica, we also have to deal with that issue of the whispering. Yes. So most men are quite afraid of even talking about prostate cancer.
So for the uninformed, what exactly is prostate cancer?
Well, first of all, what is the prostate? The prostate is a walnut-type gland at the base of your penis. It regulates the production of seminal fluid, and it's an important asset for men, shall I say. Yes. By virtue of where it's located, you sometimes have to, historically, doctors would do what they call a digital rectal examination. And as you know, in Jamaica, that was a no-no for many men, to have anybody poking around in your rectum. But over the years, that has changed. I think most people are now more aware of the fact that it is not a subject that you should not speak about, and I'm happy that we're here this morning talking about it. And also, the digital rectal examination is whilst for many, it's still a matter of fear. The reality is that over the years, the science has improved. And we have a blood test, a simple blood test, called the prostate specific antigen test, the PSA test. That you just do a blood test, and you know, off you go. But the challenge is that we need to catch it early.
Minister, we need to catch it early. That's something that you are always talking about, knowing your numbers. You have been fronting several behavior change campaigns because moral suasion is an important factor. I mean, you can't legislate or policy your way out of this. To what extent are you feeling like some of the public awareness campaigns that the ministry has been engaged in are working?
Right. So first of all, I want to commend Dr. Earl. The explanation was absolutely perfect, so no need for more sides. The issue, of course, is behavioral, as you correctly pointed out, and the stigma that is associated with detection and screening, or
Yes.
screening and detection. So this is why I Know Your Numbers, which is taking testing to locations. In fact, this Friday we're at the Jamaica Observer's compound. We're going to be doing testing of the entire staff. We're going into corporate to try and encourage people to come. We have seen when we take that approach, when we promote and take the testing to the population in communities, that there's a greater level of responsiveness. In fact, we teamed up with the Cancer Society just the year prior to COVID, Earl may recall, with the University of Miami on a program we have called Bossman, which we created. Went to St. Thomas, did one execution, having promoted the concept. Provide a little incentive. We had over 300 men who came to that facility. So it is very possible. And as a behavioral scientist who kind of understands some of the principles of how you stimulate response, I think we have to do more of that. But beyond that, we're offering a cheaper way to do it, because the National Health Fund offers now $1,600 to every male over 40, which is the recommended age at which we start testing each year, to get your prostate screened. And then in keeping in support of what Earl said, there's a blood test, the PSA, which can give a good reading. But you know, the digital rectal exam is not nearly as violating you as people think. I mean, I did mine 3 months ago. And the key to all of this is to tell people that early detection will save your life, because cancer is not a death sentence.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's a leading cause of cancer-related deaths in men now. We had nearly 1,600 cases a year ago or so, and it's rising at 2-3% a year, which suggests that more people are getting it. And a lot of it is also impacted by lifestyle. Tobacco, lack of physical activity, some of the foods that we eat, the stress, lack of rest, that sort of thing.
I'm sure the viewers would want to hear, okay, what are the treatment options available for men?
Well, the Earl sounded to me like he has the prescription. I'm not a medical doctor, but once you detect, which to my mind is the most important, which makes screening for me the most critical. And most people don't know until it's too late. When they're having severe symptoms, by then it's too late. Then the doctors will prescribe based on the stage that you are. So maybe in the very early stages, it could be some simple procedures around medication, maybe even some surgical procedure that may reduce the risk of your being affected, because let's face the facts, it's about whether or not you can perform, right? Let's simplify it. Earl said it regulates the prostate. Is the regulation is the problem? Is the tool that it regulates that becomes scary for people. But early detection can address all of that. And as Earl said earlier, there's a lot of medication now that can restore your manhood, if you want to call it that. But the key is to get tested and to detect early.
Yes. I went and got my test last week, and Dr. Nichelle White was very competent and gentle.
Oh, excellent. Well, follow this guy.
From a Jamaica Cancer Society perspective, though, what are some of the initiatives that are being done? What are some of the partnerships and the linkages, and for persons who may want to onboard some of those partnerships with what they're doing in their communities? How can they?
Well, first of all, we work closely with the urologists and the Urological Society, and we host a number of medical conferences and symposia to inform the doctors and the rest of the society as to the prostate cancer and what you can do and what you shouldn't do. We also have execute a number of screening clinics where persons come into the Cancer Society and they get screened for prostate cancer. And as the minister pointed out, his ministry has been given it a boost, where he had been paying for many men to get their prostate cancer screening. So we have in place a great program. But for this month in particular, there'll be a free prostate cancer screening in Port Antonio, at the Port Antonio Hospital on Friday, September 20th, beginning at 8 a.m. And then there's a prostate cancer virtual medical symposium on Sunday, September 22nd at 8:30. And then in St. James, there'll be a free prostate cancer screening at the St. James Parish Church on Friday, September 27th. So these are things that we do to encourage men to be screened. As you just heard, the key is to get it early, because thereafter the treatments can have to be more aggressive. And you know, as pointed out, there's the nerves that
are affected,
that control erections, pass on the outside of the prostate.
Yes.
So it's best to catch it early, so you can have nerve-sparing procedures put in place.
Yes, I heard about a procedure called
I should
laparoscopy.
mention quickly that part of the new primary healthcare reform is to ensure that eventually when you go to a health center in your community, screening as part of the overall health check would be allowed. So that's very, very important, an adjustment to the situations at community level, and we'll be saying more about that in due course.
Happy to hear that, and of course, tomorrow, as Honorable Jared said, it's admission free, and the screening is free, so you're free to go and get your checkup. Brethren, what are you waiting on?
What are you waiting for? Yeah. Well, they say know your numbers. That is an important number to know. $0 is what it's going to cost. Another important number to know is that it's 15 minutes heading up to 7 o'clock. That's it for morning checkup. Our guests have been the Honorable Earl Jarrett and the Honorable Christopher Tufton, the Minister of Health and Wellness. On the flip side of things, a special money masterclass will be talking about how your health is your real wealth. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yo, me general, you ever get your prostate check? Nah, sir, me not think me reach that stage yet. Bowl on the party, you know past 40. You know, so you're bright, you know what that you ask me. Yeah, me know, me did just feel like a time now. Plus, he's a black man, I better you go find out. Youth man, me not too trust that they want. Plus, me not take no feel up from no man. Me woulda rather Susan Pallet or Ann. But me not take no one touch from the ran. Bowl on the boss, you know sound serious. You a big man and you a talk about feeding up. All them a go do a one PSA blood test and then them do the DRE. No but the object. A bag of man a dead cause of prostate cancer. So this bag of feel up talking about the answer. Plus you can always bring your wife when you're Sandra. And if you need a help out, me we be a sponsor. So what you want do? Me I get me prostate check. What you want go do? Me I be get me prostate check. Tell me what you want do? Me want go get me prostate check. Alright, you ready? Yeah man, me ready. Alright.